Would a Lions win put to bed the three letters?
Well, it's already put to bed for me. And I wasn't a huge believer in it. I know there's been a lot of unique things happen to the Detroit Lions over a very great expanse of time.
I'll say them. Isn't SOL different than the curse? Because I think that it's completely different.
Yeah, it's completely different, sure. But each team is different. Yes, the franchise is the same, and you could talk about a lot of different reasons as to why they never were finding success. And yes, there were some oddities that happened for the Lions, but in terms of those three letters, it's unique to the Lions, obviously, because you couldn't say SOL for anybody else.
Right.
But when I think about when it was gone for me, and it started with 8-2 last year. And you could start talking about, the Seahawks and the Rams game and, Baker Mayfield going there and getting a win that kept the Lions out or getting a lot, whatever it was.
That same old Lions.
Yeah. But that began it. Now you win the division. They haven't won a home playoff game. I get that. I'm hoping I get a chance to witness it. I'll be there. And I would love to Monday morning, play the taps for, those three letters. But for everybody, it's different. That's what I think is very unique about that, because some say it's not going to be gone until you win a Super Bowl. And do I think that's in the cards this year? No. Do I think it's in the cards in the next couple of years? I do. And I expect that to be an opportunity. I expect them to be a team that gets to an NFC Championship game, that wins and goes to the Super Bowl. And then when they get there, how do they handle that situation? Do they win? Is it a possibility that you could be talking about multiple ones? Hey, let's get there first.
Right. Because the last time they won a playoff game, everybody thought that they were going to be ascending like them and the Cowboys for that decade, and we know what happened. They had some crazy curse-like SOL things happen to them that they couldn't control. Some of them they could, but some of them they couldn't, handle second, all that other stuff. So I think if they win a playoff game, I think for the most part it's dead. However, it depends how they lose like later. If they win a playoff game, okay, SOL is dead. And then the next week,
same thing happens in Dallas.
Yeah, or they say Dan Campbell tries that back and forth thing that Jim Caldwell did on a helmet. Some crazy ass thing that only happens to the Lions. Then it would return. But other than that, to me, winning a playoff game for the first time in 30 years, that's not the same old Lions.
Can you have a regular season, three-letter word? Can you have a postseason? Three-letter words, like the regular season, maybe that's gone, but the postseason is still there? Because you have a chance this year. Okay, you could say if you lose to Stafford, that's a three-letter word. If you beat Stafford, but then you lose to Dallas, and Dallas a very similar way, there's been a number of interesting ways to do that there. It's still there. But if you beat the Cowboys, is it gone in the playoffs? Because then you get to a point where you're past where most people, almost everybody, expected you to be.
Correct. You are exactly where you were in January of 1992, playing for the NFC Championship, playing for your chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's a long freaking time.
And that's why it's the future decisions that are going to impact it, because SOL just went away for 1 year that year.
Yeah.
The curse and everything. Mm-hmm. We're picking the one time since 1957.
I know.
So I think it needs to be multiple regular seasons.
Yeah.
I also think what they decide to do with golf is going to have a heavy impact on this. It's a tough decision.
Yeah, no, it's a very tough decision. And, I mean, there's a lot of different ways it could go, but you got to find a way to make it go right.